Thank you very much, Kirsten. I'm just going to check in. We're running quite a bit late, and I'm just wondering, given that normally, I mean, the annual report has actually gone out to you, whether it might be preferable for me to actually send something to you after the meeting, because like you have seen the report. I was just going to draw attention to a few things, but we're running about 15 minutes late. So I'm really checking in with the steering group about how you want me to proceed. Can I do a 5-minute version?
A 1 minute, just show us the cover and a 1 minute version, and then we'll have our toast and then we can move on.
Okay. Right, let me just give me 30 seconds to think of the 1 minute version. I guess the main thing we want to say from the annual report is how grateful we are for the support that we've had from members like you and others. I really encourage you to have a look at the report, because it's a bit more than a report. It's our story for this first 18 months. And while a number of us have worked very hard, we could not have done it without the support of our members and others. I was looking at the annual report, and there are at least 50 people who've contributed something, and sometimes a substantial amount of time, energy and expertise to the work we've done. And I would like to thank each and every one of them, because that has been invaluable. I'd also like to thank the other members of the steering group who've kept me sane. And I actually had a laugh when Kirsten said I was so well organised, because it's a bit like the duck swimming along, underneath paddling fast. And I'd also like to acknowledge Jane Gelch, who was mentioned as being my co-presenter. She actually had delegated to me, but I'm very grateful for the support that she provided. I think there are a couple of key things to think about with the Congress. One is that we're a women's organisation and we try and work in women's ways. So when you look at the annual report, you'll see that we work in circle, and that's actually really important because it's non-hierarchical as far as we can possibly make it. And it means that people can have a voice here, which we hope will enable them to have a voice elsewhere. I think two other things from feedback we've had are really significant and a little bit unique about the Congress. And the first of those is our outreach to Indigenous wisdom. Because for me, the learning to come from Indigenous philosophy is so profoundly relevant to the crisis we face that it's astonishing that it's not more widely discussed and understood. I'm on the absolute beginning of the journey myself, but I'm so grateful to our Indigenous colleagues who have been so generous in sharing their knowledge and in welcoming us as learners. That's been absolutely wonderful. I think the other really significant thing is our reintegration of the arts. We started off talking about integrating the arts and realised that reintegrating was really the issue, because the arts have a place in life. It's not that you go to the theatre for arts. The arts are fundamental to us understanding the crises we face and what it means to be human in this world. So very great thanks to our reintegrating the arts circle as well. And finally, I'd like to thank, we've had enormous support from some of the thought leaders in our country, the women thought leaders and politicians as well. And that's been incredible support. I think our Women's Climate Conversation series has been mind-changing. I really encourage you to go and look at some of that on our website. If you were to go through the whole series, you would have, a year of university study, I think. But it's conversational, it's fun, and it's women's ways of learning. And I guess finally, I'd like to thank Janet so much for her vision, her drive, and her commitment to keeping us on track, because this organisation absolutely tries so hard to live to that vision and value statement that we talked about. Have a look at it. It's beautifully written, it's profound, and it has driven the way we have tried to work the last 18 months. So I commend our annual report to you. I hope you'll have a look. And if you have any questions or comments, please get back to us.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Lyn. Just trying to get... and also thank you, Lyn, for your work on preparing the annual report, and to Jane and to everyone else who contributed. And I was going to put in some other thank yous here. Lyn has already done some of it to all of the women who have contributed to what we've achieved in the last year, particularly our fantastic steering group, our hub, our volunteers. Particularly, I'd like to mention Joanne Eade, who came as a volunteer from the Australian Volunteers Programme, and has been absolutely invaluable and integral to what we've been able to achieve, and to all of the other members who've come to our different subgroups and have contributed in so many ways. So I just like to raise a glass at this moment. I've got my I've got my bottle here, but I'm not actually going to open it because it's a bit early in the day, and you have to pretend. You know, just imagine now. This is it. We're opening the bottle. We're going to say cheers, and I've got my glass of something, and here's to the Women's Climate Congress and to more years and more success in what we're trying to do. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Barbara, who is going to introduce our guest speaker, because no AGM is complete without an after dinner or after cheers speaker. And we're so honoured today to have Biff Ward as our speaker. And Barb, take it away.